feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rafael Chacín, as known as El Capitán Rafucho, and welcome to another episode of the Combat Club with my co-host Zenith, which is arriving in a few seconds, and this captain right here, Rafael Chacín, as known as El Capitán Rafucho. So this episode is gonna be like a really short because there's a lot of things to discuss right now. But this is like a space with all we can debate, all those things in the mixed martial laws like the UFC, WWE, AEW PFL, also in boxing. So let's just get started with a brand new one. So I just wanted to make sure to say that make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to El Capitán Rafucho, also subscribe to Zenith. So without with the start, because I think there's some interesting news that I would like to discuss right here. So I just wanted to figure it out with this news right here on the stage right here. So I was just getting ready right now. So I just wanted to figure it out that it's just ready to do it, but I just wanted to figure it out how the main reporting it is right here. So
yo, what's Gucci? My bad. Thank you for holding it down, bro. I really do appreciate that.
All right, don't worry about that. But I would love to see like a display for the first topic right here. So I just really thought it's gonna be like a really interesting. So right now here it is. Bellator get news deal with Match Sports. Now, a lot of things that I go for because the impact of streaming is getting like a really louder because right now Bellator has switched it off for Paramount and Showtime. It gets a new deal with Match Sports, including for PFL. But right now, it is getting into the streaming right now. But I think the impact that the mixed martial arts and streaming became like very big toll to all of this for the last decade. Because if you remember watching for the UFC, getting like my stream on Spike, on AFX, and of course the impact of the reality show, The Ultimate Fighter, and then just figure it out for the new country, the UFC on Fox, which is since 2011 to 2018, and then they switch it off for the ESPN like at a multi-million deal between 2019 to 2024. But I think the impact of getting like involved for streaming all those fights and like boxing, mixed martial arts, and wrestling, because take it for example. I mean, there's wrestling with Peacock, with WWE, and all the kinds of the WCW Classic, also the ACW, and the pay-per-view, which is like SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, also there's Survivor Series, and of course they just got out the pay-per-view for the UFC and the UFC Fight Nights on ESPN. I mean, the very huge impact of sports and streaming, including the world of mixed martial arts, boxing, and wrestling, it became very huge in the last decade. And right now, let's give it to our co-host, Science in it, about the impact of broadcasting sports on streaming, which is defining a new era on sports television, which is like the Bellator gets a news deal with Match Sports. I think it's still muted right now.
My bad, fam. I was muted there for a moment. Yeah, dude, I absolutely love this new deal with Max Sports. I think it's really good on the platform that is Max for Bellator. I mean, like Bellator has always been and looked like to be that B level to the UFC, you know. But at the end of the day, I think the reason why is because of the fact that a lot of households didn't really know where to get Bellator, and now you go to a service like Max that is in a lot of people's households. A lot of people respect HBO from a long-standing good service and good entertainment, and they used to do boxing back in the day. And if you think about it too, I don't think they do boxing no more. I think that's more of a Showtime thing. But if you think as Max as a streaming service as a whole, it just brings value to Max. You know, now you have it brings combat sports to Max, and I just feel like in the world of combat sports, and not even combat sports, in the world of streaming, you know, they had to somewhat get into the mix. We're leaning more of a generation that's going and leaning off of linear television and get into a more of a streaming generations. And the next generation, you know, they don't even have cable and stuff like that. And to think about it, the UFC's deal is almost up, and they're probably gonna go. And I know they're in talks with Netflix to seeing if they can stream on Netflix, but it is gonna be a big battle to um, wrestle the UFC away from Disney. That is a big company, but if anybody can do it, it is Netflix. And getting back to Bellator, I hardly watched Bellator because I knew where to find them, but it was just it was it was hard for me to uh, to go in and to keep up with a lot of different sports. So I kind of was lazy and I didn't really watch Bellator. But now that Bellator is on Max and I do have Max as a streaming service provider, I think they make a lot of good TV shows, and a lot of like Discovery and like travel channels on Max. And now what Rafael just said, Max Sports, you see it right here on the TV, and it adds Bellator. So not only are you gonna get a library of a bunch of old boxing poly documentaries and a bunch of other things that's already on HBO Sports. HBO Sports is always known for great documentaries. Now you get to add live sports in Bellator, and I think if you look at the championship series, um, all of it's gonna be it's the new home of Bellator, so that's gonna be super excited because now I'm gonna be tuned into Bellator even more than I was previously. And let's see with honestly with the WWE going to Netflix as well for Monday Night War, we'll see what happens with the UFC going forward. But great deal, win-win for both parties.
There you go. So I think the huge impact about for the streaming sports is getting real loud because if I remember about this, because remember in the 90s when all the boxing thing is going out for the HBO, and then right now for the MMA that's coming out for the UFC, because before that, because the UFC started earlier as it go for the BH tape and also for the pay-per-views, but right now it's getting like a very mainstream because due to the contrast, because after the impact of the Ultimate Fighter, which is a reality show, we're about putting up some fighters and getting involved with it. Who's gonna be like the next new sensation for the UFC? Boom is getting like a new mainstream, but right now it's getting off of the channels because right now we see like the 90s to 2000. I mean, there's sort of like a huge impact of cable TV, and then from 2010 to 2020, I mean, the streaming take a whole new lot of level about for the streaming. And of course, some people cannot afford it to pay like a pay-per-view because it's like very too much. But then it has several things to enjoy like at a pay-per-view. Because, for example, if someone has to go for the sports bar, which is in North Carolina, there's a difficult it's not very difficult because in North Carolina there's like the specific sports bar that he can pay like at the pay-per-view and just put in like the big screen and then just show out all those fights with UFC 299 and of course pay-per-views. And when it comes to fight night, you can only watching on ESPN Plus without problem.
That's absolutely facts. It gives these platforms another outlet. Now exactly what you just said. I'm not going to repeat it, but instead of going and trying to find all these different combat sports and all these different channels, you have a certified place for Bellator. That at least it is, because I know sometimes people like me, it's hard to find these when there's so much different TV services. And at the end of the day, another good point you brought up too is like in this day and age where it's so hard to even pick one streaming service, it adds more value to HBO Max. Say if you could only you have to pick between maybe Max versus maybe Paramount or versus Peacock or another service. I know Max is a little bit more expensive, but you're getting Bellator on top of that as well.
There you go. So right now, let's move on to the next topic. I know there's a lot of people who can interested, but there are some people that cannot very interesting. So let's see what I got over here. All right. So what are the brightest stars of the UFC, which is Conor McGregor, returns this summer, but not against Elo Topuria, because everybody thought that Conor McGregor will be like in those summer fights against Elo Topuria, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's officially had to go for it because this has been happening since the Khabib fight, and that's what they're tired because sometimes it'll work him unless it is the biggest one special event ever. So he just getting out of the rhythm and couldn't never back into it. So that's why he just wanted to tune out for the fights hit season. I mean, he's been asking some fights in several of the last years, and they just wanted to let him for a regular fighter. I mean, there were even like the Dustin fight until then Dustin went off there and off and got a box for charity. I mean, imagine this. Has so many issues with the contract and fight delays when it comes to front foot piece or the antitrust lawsuit. Like so many fighters in the past, this portion of career is being manipulated, but I don't think so. But I think that we're right to slow it down for the biggest stars appeal, given like the ones that are controlling people and still don't get why fighters they hazard a lot over different products. But I think that I never forget was the night of the figures because unfortunately he has more years left as a live fighter. But right now he's 35, and so any department Connor was still game was gone, but it's not gonna be against Ilya Topuria. It's not gonna be. But I think that it would see like in one of the latest episodes of Monday Night Raw when Michael Chandler calls out Conor McGregor going back to the octagon. I mean, it will say look at a new contract, but I think that it will come to after to continue, after to go over. It's not about the business, but it's about marketing. But I think it's gonna be like one of those reasons that it can be like the better than this. I mean, what would happen about Lesnar right here? I mean, if in those are those better times, I mean, he's better than the populace, and it's still like a dodge from watching that. But at least career was soberly sure that it's very a crime for a temple. And we discussed it to be nice, Iceland bets for a fight there are made in, so you weren't like with name, but give it like to the business. I mean, I think that Conor McGregor is putting out like a Dylan Francis. He just went out with his contract for 5 years and bounced it to Saudi Arabia on the bots. Meanwhile, Chandler was still dreaming about getting like a Conor McGregor versus Chandler. I mean, look at this clip because he was dealing some mentality. I mean, ball career, all this mental struggle because it's not really a decent game. But I don't think it's gonna be like a fighter game. He seems like very know how to do this, but also how to move. It's very constantly has been can struggle about for this career and all this stuff. So, and I know that I'm on my bread, so I was leave it a kid, my co-host saying it about the return of Conor McGregor this summer, but it's not going to involve the fight against Ilo Topuria. It's going to be involved for the fight, so it's going to be like the future contenders. So let's cheer him up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like if you think about it, Ilya was dreaming if he thought he was gonna get Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor, I don't think would ever fight at 145 in the rest of his career. He has 2 fights left on contract. If you really think about it, one of those fights is going to go to the man that called him out, what my co-host just mentioned, in Michael Chandler, and then the second fight will probably go if there's a rematch with Nate Diaz, or we'll see what happens with that. You know what I'm saying? That being said, I was kind of eyeing UFC 303. That is the UFC annual fight week that they do in Vegas every July. I believe in June, actually, in this year. And I believe at the end of June, or it could be at the end of June, at the end of July. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's looking to headline that week, UFC Fight Week, and I think he's looking to do it against Michael Chandler. Obviously, I think that's the fight to make. If you think of what's going down in the division right now, and Conor McGregor fights in multiple divisions, but in the lightweight division, focusing on that, there's a lot of fights that is going on, and the 2 competitors that is at the top that doesn't have a fight is obviously Michael Chandler. What do you feel about Michael? What do you feel about Conor McGregor? Like just coming back and obviously, we knew it was going to happen because of the fact that if you're not active, you're not ranked. But just and plus he has to finish this Michael Chandler thing because of the Ultimate Fighter. But say he beats Michael Chandler, he's automatically ranked. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of feel that that's just the respect you get being Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying? That just you just come back and you immediately just get pulled into title contention. If his name wasn't Conor McGregor and if he didn't do the things that he did for this company, a lot of people fail to realize that he promoted this sport more than anybody ever did, and he put the sport in the map more than anybody ever did. I get it. There was your Anderson Silvas of the world. There was your GSPs of the world. There was your Icemans, your Chuck Liddells, your Hall of Famers. You know what I'm saying? In Randy Couture as well, and who could forget about Hoist Gracie? But at the end of the day, there was one promoter that was second to Dana White, and that was Conor McGregor. When this kid came onto the scene, now we have fighters talking shit and calling people out and doing all this crazy jazz on the mic when they get the opportunity. Conor McGregor invented that in the UFC. Conor, like, obviously there was a Chill Sonins of the world and there's shit talkers, but Conor McGregor created the I'm gonna stand my ground, I'm gonna say what I want, and I'm gonna accomplish it. He stood his ground. He said what he wanted, and he accomplished it. Not only winning against arguably the greatest featherweight to ever walk the earth in Jose Aldo, defeating him at one punch, but also going up and proving against a real game Eddie Alvarez, a real game Eddie Alvarez, almost what he did to Eddie Alvarez was just shocking, and that's what I meant to say than that. And to become a 2 division champion, I know Conor McGregor gets a lot of like slack when it comes to immediately, you don't have to go on another win streak. You can immediately get into title contention. But his name, I mean, like what his brand that he built up, deservedly so. So shout out to Conor McGregor. I can't wait for that fight. It's still gonna break numbers. It's still gonna break records because that's what McGregor does. He breaks records when he walks into the octagon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I really think that the whole career of Conor McGregor, I mean, first and foremost, the knockout of Aldo was the pinnacle at the time. I mean, if just like everybody told us at the time, when the sun becomes to an end, if the sports catch it up and pass it by, I mean, his very accomplishment absolutely get eclipsed Jorge Masvidal, and but you cannot deny what his accomplishment of the sport. I mean, I really think that that's the only thing that I was getting involved with all these things right now. I mean, during 2015 and 2016, I mean, Conor McGregor was the prime star of the UFC because not only for the trash talk, but also he just involved for the 2 belts, 2 championship. I mean, that was like very impressive. That made him like popularity against that Cowboy, Till, Laskin, even Diaz, Masvidal. I mean, I would just really his ability to get in the head again for the second to none. But I think that his striking was very something that was really special. His time and precision to second to none. I mean, one of those reasons that he looked so angry about the press conference in Khabib was trying to knock it over the head because he was not giving like a 100% in training. Because he always be like a Conor McGregor, the first champion, the biggest star that's ever seen, also the richest ever. But I think that the record and skills area because it's gonna be like a level fighter for the greatest of all time because he just made like a much money. But if you look at see at the greatest of all time, if you see like Conor McGregor, also we just saw George St. Pierre, Chuck Liddell. Also there also there's another one, which is another one that I was gonna be over because Royce Gracie. I almost forget at that one
Yeah,
because
Royce Gracie.
also Anderson Silva because these are the fighters who made like a great impact during the generation. And Conor McGregor was one of them. Also, not only Conor McGregor was in the prime because right now, after all this training, right now he's debuting on the big screen, which is Roadhouse, which is a remake for the '89 movie, along with Jack Gyllenhaal. I mean, he couldn't do anything. I mean, there's nothing can start about for Conor McGregor's prime, and everything could happen because he's still being like an Eli fighter, but he's still like years until I had to say, "Hey, I'm gonna retire right now. I'm gonna hang up my clothes," and then boom, here comes another fighter who made like a great impact, just like Conor McGregor.
That's facts.
Yep, there you go. I mean, and after that, for the Mayweather fight, I mean, he came like a very standard, but they never reached for the MMA before capitalize. I mean, like many of us, because he just making it like a great sample. Also, he made like a lot of money, but also he just carrying on for the grappling and knockouts, arguably this gas tank. And I mean, he just beat Eddie Alvarez. If they had to carry on that at least one dollar better against Khabib, I mean, shit, that was really, really important that nobody understands that with the magic that he couldn't put about it. So yes. All right, so
I
folks.
just noticed of the stream. I really respect that. I really wish you would have streamed it to your channel. I just noticed it right now. We should clip this and put it up on your channel as well after this. I'm sorry about the issues and the problems with that. I just really noticed that.
Yeah. I know because I know that so many people are is wanting to stream it on my YouTube channel, but well, due to the issue problems that I got because I'm just making sure for the technical issues, but
So we'll
it didn't
figure
work.
that out later. But for sure we'll clip this and put it on your channel as well. And next time just put it on your channel, and I can clip it and put it on my channel. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate that, Rafael. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
noticed that now.
yeah. I know because I just really noticed about it. But all right, so I just wanted to move on for the next topic, and
Absolutely.
I know that someone had to the point right now because I just wanted to see about it. So I just wanted to make sure I wanted to I just wanted to share the screen right here. So
Let's get
I
it.
just wanted to figure it out. All right, so most people don't know about it because right now they're gonna talk about who is the top WWE superstars of all time. So I know there's gonna be like a world champions, trailblazers, and giants. Also, a lot of the controversy, but let's see what they got right here. So they're just number
Let's go over
40,
this. I
which
like
is
this.
yep. Here's the number 40, which is a superstar, Wheeler Graham. He's just like a Hall of Famer, WWE champion. Also in the number 39, Rob Van Dam. I mean, Rob Van Dam was very iconic, not only about his signature, but also with his high flying. He was became like an ECW champion, European champion. I mean, he was just like an uber athlete with the innovate set, like no one else's competitors right here. I mean, the number 38, Owen Hart, I mean, he just made like a great history as the King of Ring. Also, the number 37, there is Mr. Perfect. So let's just see what I got over here. Number 36, Batista. I mean, if you grew up in the wrestling back in the 2000, I mean, if you see like the prime of Batista between in SmackDown and Raw, it just became like super explosive. I mean, he became one of the biggest, the strongest men on the 2000 because it really thought it was gonna connect right now, but initially it has a big jack heavyweights right now. But I mean, if you can remember about this, all the segments between Raw between Ric Flair and Triple H about who's gonna have with like the championship. I mean, that was very competitive. Also, the number 35 is the Ultimate Warrior. I really like it. Also, there's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, one of the greatest intercontinental champion, the talented. I mean, with the likes of Mr. Fuji, Jake the Snake Roberts. I mean, he's emotional. He came like at a boat in WWE history. I mean, one of the most respected stars. Also, the number 33 as Booker T. Number
I love the
32,
fact
Jay.
that they put Booker T on that list. Let's get it. Shout out to this list.
I mean, there's nothing that can run about it. I mean, Booker T. I mean, he just made like a great history.
Oh
Not
yeah, he was a
only
dog. He was a dog for sure. For sure, he was a dog. I'll let you go on. My bad to interrupt you.
yeah, not only about for the making history at the WWE, but also he just made history at WCW, and he became like one of the king of the ring. Also for the number 32, which is Jake Disney Roberts. I mean, very classic. Number 31, which is I
Dang.
clarify because this one is very important. I mean, whatever it is, like the big red machine. I mean, he just merged like a darkness. I mean, there's nothing better than a great superstar in the 90s and 2000 like Kane. And of course, when he joined in for the Brothers of Destruction, I mean, Kane was sublime in this prime days of the 2090s. I mean, he joined out for the Brothers of Destruction. Boy, that gave me like a goosebumps right here. I mean, what can I say about it? What can I say? I mean, because right now they're just to say who's gonna be like the greatest wrestler of all time. Because before WrestleMania comes to Pennsylvania and Philadelphia at the home of the Philadelphia Eagles. So I just wanted to figure it out because right now they're just putting like a list of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. So I would like to let you know that my brother Science Sandy put us like the details about who's gonna fit into the wrestling's top superstars of all time, who's gonna be there, who's not gonna be there. So any thoughts about for the list so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Respect on this list so far. I think we heard Ultimate Warrior was on this list. A shout out to him as well. And then we also heard Batista. Shout out to Batista. I knew when I was growing up in that baby, not baby face, but that, like that John Cena era. I forget what it's called, that stupid era. But that being said, though, guess it would call the babyface era. Batista was there, and Batista definitely made my Monday nights worth watching. And shout out to him as well for. Honestly, I think we're having some technical issues with Rafael, but he'll be back. Shout out to Batista as well for becoming a great actor. You know what I'm saying? Not only did he, captivate the minds of the WWE, but he turned that into Hollywood, and now he's doing movies in Hollywood. I bet we know him most for his role in the Guardians of the Galaxy, but he branched out to do other roles as well. And I think he is becoming a multi-film genre actor where he can go and he can act in multi different genres. Shout out to Batista, and then one and only Kane. There ain't nothing like him. You know what I'm saying? He came out as a different character at first, but you could see as his whole WWF WWE career emerged. He was a household favorite and an all-time legend and a Hall of Famer. So shout out to Kane. I absolutely love this list so far.
I mean, there's nothing wrong about it. I mean, before the WrestleMania commenced at the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium, I mean, they just wanted to put like the wrestling top all stars, which is like an amazing at the all time. But I think that we just saw for the King right here because I just seen like a very much prime of it. But also we can never forget about the impact of Jake the Snake Roberts. I mean, there's nothing else there because there has like the most talking in the company, but his words are coming like a knife, and he became like one of those billions. If we put like the comics or
What up, what up,
cartoons,
what up, champ?
I mean, you could probably go with. Yep.
That's facts.
Yeah,
I didn't want to
absolutely. Hey,
interrupt you,
salute
but
to
shout out
Jake.
Jake the Snake.
Yep.
Stone Cold has to make that list. Yeah, absolutely. He has to be near the top, if you ask me. Top 10 for sure. Stone Cold, the GOAT, says Champ. Yo, make sure you guys go check out Jaden the Champ channel. Always dropping that NBA 2K content. That drops some Madden content, and always keeping you guys updated on the New York Giants. Let's get it. I love it. Go ahead, Rafael.
Yeah. But one of those reasons that I just wanted to
Jamming to some music, I see, Rafael.
no, I just see that because there is something about it for the yeah, there's something about for the page, but I just figured it out because there are some issue problems. But I just really thought that we just listed about for anything could happen like this list of wrestling superstars. I mean, there's nothing like very greater that also destroying of it because I know the last week was 316 Day, which is like an homage to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, you could imagine about for the top 10 wrestling superstars that made like a great impact. I mean, I can put it like a list at the top to the top right now because the greatest wrestler of all time, it got to be like between Stone Cold Steve Austin and, of course, the one and only The Rock. I mean, there's nothing very huge that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I know it has a very prime in the 90s to 2000. And of course, he just made like impact in 2000, 2020 when it comes to the heel style. But there's nothing else can really change the whole impact of the wrestling, which is The Rock. But of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he just broke the whole barriers in the 90s and 2000 with this attitude. And of course, his catchphrases goes around to the world. And we can never forget The Undertaker. Whenever it is debuted on the Survivor Series back in the 90s, along with Ted DiBiase, and then boom, he became one of the greatest characters ever. Even with this entrance of Michael Venom Page with the UFC Fight Night,
using the Undertaker's theme, yeah,
which is very, very excited to see like him portray for the Undertaker, and that there's nothing else more that can do it. And of course, speaking of John Cena, because he just made like a great impact, not only for this hip hop attitude style, but also he just released a hip hop album called "You Can See Me," but also provide like Make a Wish, also to do charity jobs, and he was doing like at the big screen. Also, we just see like in a new movie called Ricky Stanky, and of course, it just made like a great. Everything could happen like this one because there's nothing else that they can do like at the very impact. I mean, because
I would say
believe it or
too.
not,
Not to interrupt you, but I would say too. You gotta kind of look at WWE as the generations too. I mean, like if you even think about before the WWE became before it became entertainment, when it was Federation, you got people like Hulk Hogan. You know what I'm saying? Hulk Hogan is a name that we want to bring up as well. And even Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is a name that I want to bring up as well. So I do love the fact that we were mentioning greats like The Undertaker and then Stone Cold and The Rock. But then when I think of that generation too, I can't help but think of Shawn Michaels, and Triple H dabbled in him a bit as well. But I'm gonna let you get back to your point. You was gonna make a point about John Cena, I believe, and I think Undertaker, Champ said it perfectly. Undertaker, his streak was ended by Brock, but the guy's literally a top five. Some people even put him at one as the best wrestlers to ever do it. And also too, you gotta. I mean, like these guys or I wouldn't say the cream of the crop at the top, but I would say legends. You look at people like Mick Foley, you look at people like Ric Flair, you look at people like the Hardy brothers. These are people that's certainly paved the way for the next generation, and it's just so much great and so much spots, so little spots, but so much great to put in that five. If you were going top five, I know it was top 100 or top 50, but if you wind it down to just five, it is really kind of hard to just pick five. And we for sure, saying a lot of legends. And here's another legend with Randy Orton, man. That damn RKO, like that three letters, his initials, that RKO is just became famous worldwide in a lot of different households, and it's just beautiful to see it translate, not translate, but like just transcend out of just America and into a worldwide sport that is the worldwide wrestling entertainment. Is absolutely beautiful.
I mean, there's nothing to compare about it. I mean, that there's like another stars we came like at the very prime example of 2000. I mean,
Transcend.
mhm.
Try
Yeah, transcend.
transcend. That's the word I was trying to get out my stupid speech.
Yeah, transcend about it because we're just like on board because this is like the episode number 6 and we're getting close to 10 episodes. I mean, wow, this feel like it a lot. But Jada the Champ, if you mentioned about for Randy Orton, I mean, he was like a great superstar because he just embodied the full character of being like a villain because during the 2000, I mean, he became like the legend killer. I mean, he was just portrayed like this beef with the Undertaker, also the way just like Triple H. I mean, he became like very a cold blooded character that we just cannot stick it about it because it has some vicious moment that we can never forget about it. Remember that Randy Orton just burned down the Bray Wyatt's house, and then when Randy
Yeah.
Orton was just kissing along for Stephanie McMahon, they just in front of the Triple H, and also for the RKO was like a deadly move, and of course for the feel like a who needs friends to be enemies between John Cena versus Randy Orton, and then boom, because I just see like the Randy Orton's going like at the prime at the 2010, because like I see about it because Randy Orton just embodied perfectly as a great villain at the history of the WWE. Because if you see like the 90s between The Undertaker, Jake the Snake Roberts, also Kane, in 2000, there's nothing villain portrays better than Randy Orton. Mhm,
That is absolutely facts on that.
mhm. You see that I say Randy and you
Oh, my
villains
bad.
are
I
the
didn't mean to
best right
share that
here.
immediately. Still on WWE talk. My bad, guys.
Yeah, don't worry about it because I know because of the after we just saw for the because right now I gotta move on to the last topic that we're talking about it because after seeing because I know that the real is like for the wrestling world. I mean, they just see like the very important to see how much is gonna grow out for the wrestling because we used to like growing up watching wrestlers. during the time. And then we just seen like a very legendary goes to the press time, and then we just see like a lot of impact will go transcend all these years. Mhm.
No, absolutely.
All right. And right now, let's see for the last topic right here before we can shut us down right here. So I know the Science Scenic could show out for the page right here, so I just really know about it. But I know that it's gonna be like a little preview of what's gonna happen on the UFC Fight Night, which
Actually,
is totally
we still need to actually break down last week's fight night. We're gonna take 10 minutes. I'm just gonna run through that real fast, and then we'll just switch tabs over, and then we can break down this week's fight night. With rolls and ribs. I know that's gonna be a banger. I know everybody is excited to watch that, but I didn't want to interrupt you, Rafael. You go right ahead.
all right. Don't worry about that because I really know that it's something that like very important about it because right now let's see for a little review about what's happened at the UFC Fight Night. I know that's very important to see how much had to go to anything could happen. I mean, UFC Vegas, I mean, this is like it became like a really, really good result because there's something that because there's no fantasy right now. There's no fantasy. I mean, between for the fight card of Las Vegas, which is 88, I mean, the main event was very close, but not entitled to get like a bonus because no fight was warranted bonus because that was very close, but it does make sense because I mean they definitely had a kind of like a grappling and striking, and of course I would love to see like a very huge impact over those fighters, but I just saw between two biceps versus Tybura. I mean, this is like a lot of people against like the content, but also there's like a let it have the motivation. But I think that it's gonna have it hard to learn it about for the weight size. I mean, it most of the fluff of the math in the process. I mean, there's looking to be very forward if we go realistic for the statics. I mean, there's like a whole levels on the strike lane. I mean, he's very good, but I don't think it's necessary to be like a very light, just like with the Bureau corridor cut below. But I think it is said that the division was causing like the fortunate matchmaking and timing. But I think that he's still an advantage right here that against Pereira. I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen to see what is the pure striker. But I think it's gonna be a little line of it, a little more detail, but it comes to the clear back to the victory. I mean, you just see look at the very champion right here. I mean, Tsubasa has it a very probably good to finish in about 2 rounds, but I mean it's kind of like a very movement, but you still look at it quite enough level. I mean, consider the action was really quick turn, but I think that the grappling is going to drag it a little better. I mean, Tuivasa is very good, but I think it's gonna be like a huge play value, but it's go with the great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like this fight night was definitely one to watch. Obviously not the most interesting, fight night, but then when you look at it in a long one, it will play, some moves in the divisions and in the UFC. Starting with a shorty right here, going in there and submitting Corey McKenna. Obviously, this was a fight that I had McKenna winning. I knew Jacqueline could pull it off via submission early, but I just thought that Corey McKenna was going to battle through that and get the victory. But from Jolene to do that, it automatically puts her in contender to a future contender, should I say? I'm sorry, not contender, a future contender for the belt. And if she keeps on doing it at 115, she'll definitely be fighting for the belt soon. When it comes down to women's MMA, you don't really need that much wins in a row to get the victory. She coming off of a great performance with the ground and pound, and to go in there against a challenger like Corey McKenna and to pull off an Orenburg was absolutely amazing to watch. So shout out to her. We have another one I just wanted to get into real fast. Is
I mean,
Christian.
the whole card is very.
No, you was gonna say something? Go ahead. All right, I guess I'll keep on talking. That being said, though, what I wanted to get into is I'm gonna get on Christian in a bit too, but I want to get onto Joel. This guy. It was basically laughed at, not even laughed at, but just basically on his way out. No one wanted to pick him. Everybody was saying that he's gonna lose this fight. He basically This is the same guy that got knocked out against Chamaya really quick. You know what I'm saying? We all remember that one. It was a right cross at 17 seconds in the first round, and ever since that moment, he goes on a nice win streak. He loses to Jotko, which is a game opponent, and then he wins against Bruno Silva, right? From Bruno Silva, he goes on a 2-loss streak.
Mhm.
These are in grappling. We don't count that. Craig Jones is one of the best grapplers in the world, so we don't count that. We just look at the MMA. He's coming off a two fight skit, you know what I'm saying? And for him to go in there, take this guy down, obviously Brian Barrera, once you get this guy down, it's a wrap. This guy is honestly on a losing streak from hell. I mean, like, this guy is just basically on a 3-fight stint. He needs to come in here. He needs to get the big win. He needs to go in here. He needs to knock Joel out. What's up, Neil Moore? Appreciate you being here, my friend. And he doesn't get the victory. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't knock him out. He gets taken down. He gets submitted easily. What a night for Joel. Another one I want to point out is Isaac. Everybody was hyped on this guy. The 70 so 6 wins, super fast knockouts, super quick. You know what I'm saying? Getting these opponents out in the first round. You guys all see it. Don't even have to over-explain it. You know what I'm saying? But then he runs into Christian, a game Christian, a Christian that's been fighting competitor after competitor after competitor. And when I mean competitor after competitor, I mean young competitors. Get the hell out of here, Ad. We don't need you right now. What we're looking at is who he fought, putting a stop to Walrus Jr. when Walrus Jr. was 7-0. Putting a stop with Cameron when Cameron was 9-0. And these are not scrubs, guys. These are future contenders. Look what Warriors just did, guys. Look, he's on the streak, stops against Christian. Fumau punches in round 1 against Terrence Mitchell. Not to disrespect Terrence Mitchell, but you guys get the point. What does Christian do? Coming here, and again, the UFC say, "Hey, Christian, we have another up and comer. You wanna get at him?" He's like, "All right, what's his name?" They're like, "Isaac, 6-0, big time champion in another smaller organization, making it look his UFC debut." Christian's like, "Hey, I got him. Let me handle him." And sure does he handle him. Another one I want to get into is OSP. OSP looking like crap in his last outs. I mean, like, this guy is like 2-6 in his last 8 fights or something ridiculous like that, right? Not looking so good. Yes, he gets a win against Alonzo Menenfield. Yes, he gets a win against Awash Guerrero. But this guy's looking washed, right? OSP's looking washed, Boy, he looked good. He looked good against Kennedy. Kennedy didn't see that coming. This one, I can't stand. I tweeted about this one, man. Brian Battle was beating his ass, bro. Brian Battle was going off on him. I'm not even going to say his name, bro. It's not worth saying his name. This guy needs to be cut from the UFC immediately, bro. It's one thing to get poked in the eye and say you can't continue because safety is first. We take safety seriously in combat sports, and that's why I'm so mad. When you say Michael Bisping lost the eye fighting in this damn game, okay? When you say you can't see, that means you can't see. Safety number one. Don't see, and since you're getting your ass beat, say you can't see, and then pussy out of the fight. That's exactly what this guy did. I'm sorry for my language there. I didn't mean to use that word. Might have get canceled for using that word. But that being said, though, boy, can't stand that. Says he can't see. They stop the fight, and then Brian Battle calls him what I just said, and then all of a sudden he's a tough guy and he wants to fight Brian Battle after he just said he couldn't see. Brian Battle, give this kid a top contender, absolutely on the tear since winning the Ultimate Fighter. Only took 1 loss since, and that's absolutely, he's streaking right now. He's streaking. If I have to say, I believe he's on the 4. No, he's on a 2-fight streak. Felt like a 4-fight streak because that 1 loss he took in the middle of it, but this guy's beating the who's who, and obviously early on in his career, we don't really count that, but only losing once in his UFC career. So shout out to Brian Battle, and my boy Rafael gave me the breakdown on that Marcin Tybura and Tai Tuivasa fight. Absolutely a dog. Marcin Tybura doing what he's doing. We all know we all knew what you have to do, right? You have to take ties to the ground. You have to basically ground and pound him. You don't want to stand with him, and I wouldn't say that Tai is aged. I just say that, when it comes down to the cream of the crop in competition, right? In competition, when it comes down to the cream of the crop, it basically it's showing me that Ty definitely he had his streak, he had his moments in the UFC, but at the end of the day, he can't really you know, I'm sorry to say, but he can't really hang when it gets to the top of the division. But that being said, guys, we are gonna move around. I'm gonna let my boy Rafael start this off. We get a nice little ad here by Toyota. What is going on, bro? Let's just get on this fight night. Stop it with all these ads, bro. Ad Central, man. Someone help us. Let's
And
just get to the fight night and
there's
let
a lot of
Rafael go.
complication about the ads right now. I mean, Namajunas versus Rivas. I mean, this could be like a great option to get involved in this one because I'm gonna be like in a really short and completely had to go for it. I mean, this fight. I mean, this is gonna happen like in this one because it's gonna be like a great opportunity to the case of the Namajunas. I mean, this gonna happen between of the grappling style and the striking. I mean, Ross journey with the title was very impressive. I mean, almost all of her wins was very finished, and I mean that fight along with Carla was very uncharacteristic. I mean, Rose was sending like the head kick, but I mean he was like a placing style in the women's martial arts. She moves like the flip whip, whatever reason with the counts, but also True Willie was also very smooth and crisp right now with their Rose. I mean, they're two above beyond basically everybody else, but I think it's gonna start like to get a momentum again because right now she's one of those best females around at this time. I mean, they didn't know how to go for it because right now it just seems like this what it happens when it comes to Rose Namajunas because one of the biggest stars. I mean, that was very impressive. I mean, one of the best stars ever. I mean, what I had to go for this right here. I mean, also they just send it out right here for the head kick, jumping out for the fight, probably hop of the back. I mean, they just managed to try with the water sense with legs and arms and emotion. I mean, wow, what can I say about it? I mean, but if it comes to against Rivas, I mean, they just gotta feel a lot for this best fight as the betting goes because it gotta be like one of the thoughtest cards to get in and all because every single card it doesn't miss at all. It doesn't miss at all. I mean, it's better I had to go because right now it's a pound by pound fight. I mean, they clearly had to show up still easily, but it didn't look bad. But it's just very good at like the bigger because this is like a levels fight. Unless in a few weeks out of the go fight, now she decides to go for the ones to be like go to the fight. But I don't think it's gonna be like a really chance and all. But I think it's gonna might be like a title shot and she's like very active. But she's gonna be here for a long time in mentality. And I know that I'm gonna be like the shortest possible for the fight card, but I think the Rose Namajunas gonna see like the W because it's just like the worst word talking, but I would see it going well back into the weight class.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you, man. I'm gonna give Rose the W here. I just think she's the more experienced competitor. Although I do love watching Rabs fight, and I think she's super sexy. Pause. I do want to say that Rose is probably gonna finish her here. I apologize for saying that. I wouldn't be shocked if I said Wobbs if Ribs beats her. But at the end of the day, Rose is the more experienced fighter. She has a championship level experience, and at the end of the day, anything is possible in MMA. So, like I said before, I'm not going to be surprised if Amanda beats her. But at the end of the day, Rose has faced, I believe, the better experienced fighters. Also, I want to get into this Cole Williams versus Justin Taffa fight real fast. Justin Taffa, it was supposed to be Junior Taffa that is in this fight, but Junior Taffa had to step up for Justin Taffa about a month ago in his brother's fight. So now here's his brother stepping up. against Carl Williams, and this is gonna be a lovely fight for the ages, guys. It's gonna be, I believe, it's gonna either go be a fast one or it could be a really long and boring and slowing fight. But I don't think it's gonna go that way. I think this is gonna be done in the first round by knockout. Someone's getting a knockout. If I had to put money on it, it's gonna be Carl Williams with a knockout. But anything could happen as well. This is a UFC fight card where these are up and comers trying to make a name to take their UFC to the next step. We do have some household names like Edmund, but at the end of the day, these are all up and comers that is gonna make their way into the UFC, already are in the UFC, but just has like a fighting for their damn contracts, should I say? He's 1-4 in the UFC. At this point, you're fighting to stay on roster. You're fighting for your contract. So this is what this fight card is about. Plus, two, we have a lot of up and comers like your boy all the way down here who is going to be opening the show, Muhammad Usman. Usman's a younger or older brother. I believe he's younger. I could be wrong. It could be his younger older brother. His younger brother. But that being said, though, absolutely a stud. Been on the tear. Appeared on the Ultimate Fighter. Took that loss on the Ultimate Fighter. But ever since that, oh no, he actually didn't take that loss. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He won against Zach. What am I saying? Won against Zach and been on the tear since. Obviously, he faced tougher competition, so you don't get that immediately knockout that you want. Don't chase the knockout. If I had to guess, he's gonna knock Mick out. But anything is happening. Mick, I believe he could be making his debut. I believe so. Oh no, what am I talking about? This guy has been fighting in the UFC for 2 fights now. So this is a perfect fight for him. I want to have to take Usman in this one by knockout, guys. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. Anything is possible in the UFC. Like I said, guys, this is a fight card where people are making their debuts. And then also people are trying to, like, again, debut fighter, only has 1 fight, trying to fight for the contracts. You know what I'm saying? You go 0-3 in the UFC, your career is not really promising. This guy's making his UFC debut. This guy's 1-4 fighting for his contract. This guy's obviously a UFC veteran. So we have some UFC veterans, but then also, guys, we do have a lot of people making their UFC debut. That being said, guys, I think we're probably going to close it out. I'm going to pass the responsibilities of hosting back over to my co-host, Rafael. I really appreciate you guys being here tonight, joining us on another episode of the Combat Club. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and do all the great things to get you guys informed when we go live, because we do want you guys to turn on that bell and get informed, for we can bring you guys the latest on combat sports. I know this episode was kind of a bit choppy. I respect Rafael for obviously holding it down, staying committed. Thank you so much for that. I'm sorry so much for running late. That being said, though, back to you, Rafael. I appreciate it, my friend.
All right, don't worry about that. And of course, we can stay tuned, because right now, after the episode number 6, we just wanted to talk about for the UFC Fight Night, but also it's been like a great episode of the Fight Club, which is the Combat Club, which is a space that about for the visual martial arts, all these things right here. So I just wanted to figure it out that before WrestleMania going on in April, I got a huge surprise for all these fight fans right here. Then before the UFC 200, I mean, this is gonna be like a really happening right now. So that being said, thank you very much. Also hit the like button, subscribe to my co-host Science Sen, and then of course Rafael Chacín as known as El Capitán Rafucho. So that being said, bless everybody and have a great night. And it's been another episode of the Combat Club, which all we can reunited about for the mission martial arts, wrestling, and of course boxing. So have a great night.
Bless up, champ. Appreciate you tuning in, my friend. Let's get it, fam. Let's go.
Yep. Let's go. All right, have a good one.